Chris, five matches unbeaten. Whilst not getting carried away, is it about trying to ride this wave for as long as you can and get as many points as possible?
However you want to put it, riding the wave, we just want to keep going. Look to the next game and try and get something out of it. I was delighted with the performance at Tottenham, and I've talked about it. The hurdles, the obstacles that we had to overcome during that game. The attitude to disappointment was first class. And regarding the opposition, if they're not having a good time, or they're having a good time, or they've got players out, or they've got everybody full it playing, still Tottenham Hotspur away in the Premier League. And I thought the performance from back to front, in and out of possession, was great, and we deserved our result. And quickly on, after a nice break for everybody, quickly on to Manchester United, and always the next game. And can we go and add to our points total? People have asked us about putting blocks in. I don't think you can ever put blocks in the Premier League, and especially when you're Sheffield United and you've not been in the division for 10 years. So we'll look at every game and see if we can get something out of it. And Sunday's no different.
No Dean Henderson for the game on Sunday. How big a disruption is that to a defence that has been so mean? Or do you see it as an opportunity for Simon Moore? Simon's
been outstanding ever since he's been at the football club, and he can count himself a little bit unfortunate, really, because he was part of our League One success, main part. He came in just in that August window, and he was outstanding right the way through the season. But competition, as it is, and it has to be right the way through. We've strengthened that department, and Simon's been patient, and he'll be fine Sunday. It's disappointing that Dean isn't playing, but I think we've talked about it right the way through. How do we overcome defeats? How do we overcome disappointments during games like we had at Spurs? Now, how do we overcome people that are injured, suspended, or can't play, as is in the case of Dean on Sunday? So never an excuse. Great opportunity for Simon. Supporters know how good he is. The players know how good he is, and Simon will fit in there. And I'm sure won't let us down.
The subplot to this game is the return of Harry Maguire. How pleased are you to see the way that he's progressed since being here as a player?
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about academies, and a lot of people jump on the bandwagon. John Pemberton was the main teacher for Harry, and then it was Danny Wilson, because Danny put him in the team. I think he played a couple of games before that, but Danny was in the team. But the biggest thing is Harry. From my point of view, these players have got to go and do it themselves. And I've always said that. I said it about David Brooks. Everybody talked about David Brooks here. What a great job you did with David Brooks. We played a small part. Coaches play a small part. It's the player that has to develop his game. Has he got the attitude? Has he got the desire? Has he got the tools to do the job? And Harry's done that. Went away to Hull. Was patient there. Got his move to Leicester. Did fantastically well there. Earned an England call up. Did great in the next step of his career, and obviously he's playing for one of the most iconic, most powerful teams in the world now, and we can be very proud as for me more as a Sheffield United boy, and a Sheffield boy, where he's gone on and how he's been, humility, humble, and just got on with his job, and we're all delighted. But as I said, Harry's the main person in this whole scenario, and he deserves an enormous amount of credit.
You've joked about having,
and as well, he's an opposition player, by the way, Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm sure when his name gets called out and read out before, he'll get a round of applause. But make no mistake about it, he's an opposition player, and that for me, he's an opposition player with another 10, and he's in the enemy camp for an hour and a half.
You've joked about having Kyle Walker back here. Would you take Harry back some way down the line?
A long time down the line. I think there's definite affinity to this football club from previous players that have been here. Kyle and Phil Jagielka, obviously, who's been here, and others who've returned. I know Dino returned late on his career, and Kyle and if that's the case with Harry, but I'm sure he'll not want to make that step just yet. He's got trophies to win. He's got England caps to gain, and he's got to carve out a career at a top club.
Big news this week: Maurizio Pochettino's departure. Obviously, you were the last opponent. Was that a surprise to you?
I'm not at the football club, so nothing surprises me in football at all. I'm a great admirer of Maurizio. Met him obviously at the game, and things happen at football clubs, and I think possibly it just shows you that it's what happens that everybody can see is not always the real story, and obviously the man who's got in there has remarked about that at his time at Manchester United as well. In terms of what he achieved at Manchester United and was classed as a failure. I completely don't get that at all. He's he's serial winner and won more trophies than anybody else put together. And a fantastic manager. But I think going back to the point is, there's always underneath at football clubs situations, issues that are not broadcast out, and obviously there was. They made a change, and obviously they brought a world-class manager in to replace a world-class manager.
Is the Premier League a better place 100%. For the return of Mourinho?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think he's obviously made everybody aware of his desire to work back in the Premier League, and I'm glad it's April time that we meet Spurs, but I'm sure that he'll get a tune out of those world-class players.
John, it's been an amazing start to the season, but Sunday in front of the Sky cameras, Manchester United at home, is this one extra special?
I think so. I think when the fixture list comes out, you do look at the massive teams, so to speak, and there's no denying they're one of the biggest clubs in the world, so it's definitely got that little bit of extra spice, and full house at the Lane, who knows what can happen.
You're above them in the table. Would you have taken that at this stage in the season?
I think if you would have said that to any Sheffield United fan before the season started, they'd have bit your hand off for it. So it's one that we'll live in the moment for, and hopefully it can stay that way for coming weeks.
The manager at the start of the season talked about everybody raising their levels. What is it about the Premier League that's taken your game to a whole new level?
I think at the beginning it was just trying to take it in my stride and believing that I belong there type thing. And then now we're 12 or so games in, it's one that I'm growing in confidence. And I think the biggest one's just belief. You just got to believe you can play at that level, and when you're alongside these players, you actually realise that you can fit in.
In terms of the recent results, you're 5 unbeaten now. Is there a feeling in the camp that you can beat anyone?
I wouldn't say we can go and beat anyone. I wouldn't say we go to Anfield tomorrow and roll them over 5-0. But no, the belief is growing, definitely. We're going into the Sunday's game full of confidence. We've had a nice rest, all recharged, and I'm sure you'll see a firehouse performance.
Am I right in thinking you're a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, growing up I was a Liverpool fan.
So is this extra special for you against Manchester United to beat the big rivals?
You could say. I think for any scouser, the rivalry between Manchester and Liverpool is a big one. When it comes with part and parcel of competing at the highest level. I think that rivalry is good. I think it's one that'll add a little bit of spice, and I can't wait for it.
Going back to Merseyside, if you got the winning goal against Manchester United, how would that be?
I'm sure all my mates would be happy about it. All my mates would be texting me, but no, it'd be get the winning goal against anyone in the Premier League, not just Manchester United. Would be a massive moment for me. If it comes on Saturday, I'd be absolutely over the moon.
And just a final one, players' perspective on events this week at Tottenham, Pochettino going and Jose Mourinho back in the Premier League. Have you been following developments like the rest of us?
Definitely, you can't knock, can you? I'm a football fan at the end of the day, like anyone else. And as everyone's reaction, I think everyone was quite shocked by it, but it's one that you look on from distance and talk about with your mates like everyone does.